Sophia Soda with the Nerds of Color, and I've been a fan of yours for a really long time, so it's an honor to speak with you.
Oh, thank you. I feel a little old, but I appreciate it.
So I loved your performance in this film. It was really one of my favorite aspects, but I was curious what made the role unique to you? Were there any specific challenges you hadn't experienced on a past project, or something that you were really just excited to do acting wise?
I think, well, there were a lot of challenges. Pretty much everything with those, any of those like experiment scenes were
Yeah.
pretty tough just because it's not natural. I mean, to not be in charge of your own emotions and to have it, a lot of time you have to switch from one thing to the next. That was pretty difficult, but I think I was just really excited about. I like characters with an arc, and I think with this one, where Jeff starts out is a very real place. The audience doesn't find out until much later, but what he's dealing with, I just really empathized with. I thought it was a really strong place to start, and for somebody who really just feels like they're broken and damaged and would give up anything to be able to kind of fix that. I really felt for him.
Yeah. And you have some really intense scenes with Chris. What was it like filming those? You both just worked off each other so well.
Thank you. I mean, Chris he's a really phenomenal actor, and he's a great guy too. He also gives as much off camera as he does on camera. That's something I will say I was very impressed by, because you don't always get that, to be honest with you, but Chris is a very giving, genuine person, and everybody who works with him just will, benefit from that.
You and Journey also have such a great dynamic. I was curious, what do you think their relationship added to the overall story being told? I think it added a lot.
For sure. I think that within that facility, they're really, they're the only person that they have in that facility that they can really kind of talk to and share things with. And obviously, they're both kind of hiding something from the other person, maybe Journey's character a little more. But yeah, I thought it was a really beautiful relationship. To form that relationship in that kind of circumstance, in that type of environment, just means that it's a really strong relationship.
Yeah. And you kind of touched on this already, but there's obviously this theme of redemption with your character and throughout the film. Is there anything you hope that he teaches audiences?
I hope that people maybe kind of don't beat themselves up as much. I think that what he, went through is really unimaginable, and it's a nightmare, but it's things that people are dealing with all the time. You really have no idea what somebody else is dealing with, and to just not be as judgmental. And I think just because, somebody does something, they shouldn't be defined by that, and that there's, tomorrow's coming either way. So you might as well use it to try and, try and make things a little better for you.
Yeah. And I have to say, this movie actually ended up being one of my favorites I've seen of the year. I really just loved it
Nice.
overall. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think is going to make it stand out to viewers? Because I think it is going to be one that they remember after watching.
Well, I think tonally it's a really unique
Yeah.
story. It's science fiction, which is really interesting, but there's a lot of heart to it, and sometimes it's a straight comedy, and other times you find yourself in kind of like an action movie. So it's really, I don't know, it's just kind of a weird world, but there's a lot of beautiful performances in it, and Joe Kosinski is, I just think, one of the best directors working right now.
Yeah. And was there a tone you had the most fun playing with it? Because there was so much to mix in, but I imagine you had to have a favorite.
I loved the third act with Lizzie and myself, when the stakes are really high and we kind of gotta figure something out quick. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Miles. Huge congrats on the film. I can't wait for the world to see it.
Thank you, appreciate it.
The activists, directors, comments and the lectures, fanboys, professional artists and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock life, comics, movies and TV. Yeah, pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this.